I grew up in a town called Norwood, kind of half tough working class manufacturing kind of town, half suburb of Boston. So I fell off a tree and ended up in the local hospital. So they just parked me there for a week to make sure I hadn't ruptured my spleen. One of the kids in my room had acute appendicitis, and so being exposed to his symptoms and talking to him, and then finally he went down to the operating room and was fixed. It was somewhat traumatic, but fascinating. And so I think probably one of the building blocks of my career in medicine was that exposure. I actually very quickly discovered that I loved OBGYN, that delivering babies was the coolest thing in the world. I loved clinical medicine. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I loved crises and managing crises on labor and delivery. But I really enjoyed all the research aspects of the field, initially in ultrasound and then in the lab. As I finished my residency, I had the opportunity to either go into private practice or do a fellowship at Yale. And I thought about it. I had a young family, I needed money, but I also realized that I wouldn't be challenged and I would be in academic medicine. So probably the most important scientific discovery I made early in my career was fetal fibronectin. Fetal fibronectin was an excellent predictor of women at risk for and who would have preterm birth. Obviously a major discovery, it was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and became the most widely used test for predicting prematurity there is, still used around the world, and helped set me on a course toward climbing the ranks of academic medicine. I love obstacles and I love challenges, and so USF was probably the biggest one in my career, and I embraced it. And I saw huge opportunities here, particularly with the relationship with Tampa General and the ability to kind of rebuild that relationship. In the last decade, our medical school has emerged as one of the top medical schools in the country. Our students' average MCAT score is at the 97th percentile, same as Harvard, same as Yale. So it's a real success story. But the clinical program has really blossomed. We've developed clinical service lines at Tampa General that are led by our faculty, that are tied to an outstanding amount of clinical research, translational research, NIH funding, great training programs for our residents, our fellows, and obviously also for our medical students. The transformation of our medical education program, I think, is unprecedented in medicine. I truly believe we have the best medical education program in the country. So a few years ago at Match Day, which is one of the highlights of any dean's year, our students find out where they're going to do their residencies. One of my former patients who I really loved and was a very high-risk pregnancy let me know that one of the babies I delivered, obviously a few years ago, had just matched into a top surgical program in the country. And she was just so thankful and so grateful. It still brings tears to my eyes. I would say the one common feature that Tampa General now and USF, hopefully for the last decade, has been audacity, has been the willingness to take on really bold challenges and really reach for the stars. And we seem to be getting there.